So we might often think of manifestation as in tapping into your infinite potential, and a productivity tool like bullet journaling, which is all about hyper productivity and organization, to be these like two ends of the same spectrum. Because on one hand, manifestation says just relax, think about what you want, and expect it to just happen and to come and be, come into your life, and you don't have to do anything. And then on the other hand, bullet journaling can be all about writing down your lists of goals and your lists of, the habits that you want to enforce. And it can be all about making sure that you're getting things done. And what I want to tell you in this video is that they are so related. Sorry, there's bugs out here. And it has to do a bit with the perspective that I have come to take with both manifestation and with bullet journaling and being productive and taking action. My approach to bullet journaling is mostly about, it's not about striving ahead. It's not about having a list of tasks that you've gotten that you think that you need to take in order to move yourself forward and move yourself into the life that you want. It's more about doing and handling the minutia and all of the details of your life as it currently is, so that you can feel really grounded in what you're currently doing and be aware of what you're doing. Be aware of the tasks that you'd prefer not to be doing, even if you still have to do them, or at least you think you have to do them for the moment. It's just about being patient, not giving too much energy to that, not getting sucked into the story that it's going to be this way forever. And in that way, the action that will move you into the life, and then all the while that you're doing that, you're embodying being the version of you that you want to be. And what I mean by that is that, just think about it logically for a second. If you're already there, you've already arrived, you have everything that you want, the income, the relationship, the house, whatever, the freedom. What are you doing in your day-to-day life? For the most part, you're just kind of peacefully handling your things. The things are not going to go away. The things that you have to handle in your life, paying bills on time, all of that kind of stuff. And making sure that you're taking time for yourself, to sit in silence, to whatever it is that brings you joy, and making sure that you're living that now. So that's one of the biggest things that I think is so important about, to me, about bullet journaling, is to make sure that I'm making time for the things that are important to me. And when I have a task that I would prefer if I never had to do that task again, but I really think I have to do it, well, I just put it on the list and I don't give it too much energy. And I just say, even though I'm doing this right now, it's going to change. And even though I'm doing this right now, I can, in my frequency, in my imagination, if you will, envision being someone who doesn't have to do that anymore, who's almost completely forgotten what it's like to have to engage in those tasks, or forgotten what it's like to have fear about that certain thing. Like, for example, having fear about money, which is making you continue to do, for example, a job you hate, or a business that's no longer engaging to you. Just know that eventually you will be able to drop it. And what is coming into form, the higher and more exciting thing, you're not going to be able to stop yourself from doing it. It's going to be so clear to you what it is that you want to do. It doesn't mean there isn't trial and error and you don't try things and get a little more clarity, because that is kind of how the process is. You take a little bit of a step towards the feeling that you want, the feeling of peace, ease, fulfillment, really expressing all of who you are all of the time. You take one step towards that, and then you see what comes up. And that's really the work. And that's where you need to be nurturing yourself through that process. Not forcing yourself to do really anything unless it is absolutely essential, you know. And oftentimes the essential things, at least in my life, they're fairly small. It's just like, okay, and I don't feel like cleaning the kitchen right now, but I'm going to do it anyway because I have to. I don't really feel like filing these sales tax forms, but I'm going to do that because it's only going to take a few minutes and I don't want to have to pay the fine for not doing it. And then eventually that will pass, because that's how it is. It's like you take the step forward that's brave, and then the stuff comes up. It's like as your light grows, the energy of all of that stuff that's been within you kind of comes up. It comes up and out, and you just have to let it. Don't make it a problem. Just know that it's a temporary situation. It's very different from looking at manifestation as needing to control your thoughts all the time and needing to see where you have limiting beliefs and then having to change them. It's more about being with that feeling, not resisting the emotions, letting the emotions come up, being very nurturing to yourself. And what feels nurturing to you is you're going to get better and better at discerning what that actually is. Sometimes it's resting. Sometimes it's doing nothing at all. Sometimes it's going for a walk in nature. Sometimes it's actually creating. And sometimes when you create something, it might be a long time before you create something that you want to share. I know that for me, anytime that I really forced myself ahead before I was ready, this is the opposite of what everybody tells you out there, by the way. Anytime I forced myself ahead before I was ready, it was really just going in the wrong direction. I was never actually that happy that I did it. Making these videos, for example, right now, it doesn't feel at all like a forcing. It feels like I've tapped into the feeling of actually expressing myself in the way that feels real and true and fulfilling for me so many times that the action of recording a video just feels like the next logical step. And sometimes I record videos and they don't really turn out the way I wanted to. And so it takes a little time maybe before I have another inspiration, but I just know that the more that I do it, and part of the process sometimes is writing and, you know, just sorting out my ideas and everything, the more that I do it, the more I want to do it. And this is the feeling that we're after. And if you're not feeling that way, I encourage you to go back to just the tasks that you need to do in your day-to-day life, the decluttering especially, tackling that hard drive, getting the bookkeeping done. You know, just doing the essential things for yourself that make you feel good and on top of things. Sometimes we resist getting into the details. We think we'll just hustle ahead now, and when we have our business, our new business all set up, and we have our system down and we're reeling in the money, then we will go back and mop up all the details. Sometimes we resist getting into those details because of the fear of getting it wrong, or it taking too long or slowing us down. Like if we take too much time to really look at the bookkeeping or, you know, the financial details, for example, of a new business venture, then it will slow us down from getting ahead. It's like we'll keep rushing ahead first, and then we'll figure out all of that stuff later. Or taking the time to go through your camera roll and delete photos. It's a thing I'm doing lately. It feels almost indulgent. It feels almost like the thing I used to say, I would love to do that one day when I have time. I would love to get super organized in all of my files and all of the physical things in my house when I've, got all of the freedom and the time. But I want to say that it's important to do that now, and that you will take so much clearer action towards what you want to be when you let it just bubble. You let the next actions bubble up from inside you. Sure, look around at the internet, see what other people are doing, see what resonates, try it, let the stuff come up, see what worked for you and what didn't. And what I mean by worked for you is what's coming up in your emotions. And I'm not saying you have to analyze it. It's just letting it come up, letting it be there, and being present with it. That's what literally this whole journey is about. Take it as a good sign. When the scary things come up, and when you slow down and really get into the details, that is also when a lot of scary things come up. It's like, oh my gosh, I have to look at all of the purchases that I made for the last year, for example, and maybe I'm feeling almost a sense of guilt or shame about it because I might have made some wrong decisions. But let's just not do that to ourselves. Let's not frame it that way, because we aren't that person anymore. We're remembering that that is an identity that made those decisions, and none of these identities are actually you. So you're stepping into a completely new identity right now. So none of any of that has to do with you. But you might need to clean up all those details before you can really move ahead unencumbered by them. All of that digital clutter, the physical clutter in your house, it really creates an emotional baggage or a frequency baggage that you just don't need. And it's important to clean all of that up to allow yourself to move ahead. And I know it doesn't always even feel good to do that. In fact, as I just mentioned, it can really stir up some things. But that's the time to really nurture yourself and just keep moving ahead. Don't ignore those things in order to hustle ahead. Remember to keep telling yourself that doing these things is what the version of you that you want to be, the current version of you that's embodying the new self, that's what they do. They take care of the details in their life, and they do it in a peaceful and calm way. And the next steps forward in anything having to do with business, money, finance, they just come spontaneously and easily, and they can be accomplished without too much strain or effort. It's not necessary to push yourself forward. I don't want you to mistakenly think that I'm saying you should just stay exactly where you have been and keep doing all of the same habits that you have been, which is not what I'm saying at all. This is a different way of carrying yourself forward. It's what you're doing is not carrying forward those habits of hustling and those habits of thinking that you need to follow any kind of rules whatsoever having to do with algorithms or human psychology or creating FOMO or anything like that. And I'm speaking, of course, in business, and especially online business specifically, because that's the thing that I have had the most, it's a thing I've had a lot of experience with, and I've, learned all of those techniques, and ultimately none of them really felt aligned with the way that I truly want to live, and not only me, but the way that I want the world to be. And this is about having higher standards for yourself and higher standards for the world, and really understanding what a powerful creator you are. So either you buy into this idea or you don't, that you can really be and do whatever you want to, and that you can trust the feeling that aligns with, just the best feeling that you can have, which is being the fullest expression of yourself. That's really what it is all about in every single area of your life. Okay, so I think that I've made the point that I wanted to make in this video, and if you would like some support in bullet journaling, just kind of getting started and doing it in a very simple way, the way that I love to do it is to be pretty simple. It's really mostly about the mindset, and I do add some decorations and embellishments. So if you are familiar with bullet journaling, I do it in a super simple way, and I add decorations, but no drawing required. You don't have to stress about making a exciting, fun design every week. It takes me 5 to 10 minutes, and I find it very flowy and like I'm doing something creative for myself. It's like a self-care, nurturing practice. So go ahead and check that out below, and I'll see you in the next video.